Just don't work on you. Got my mojo working, but just don't work on you.
Good evening, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mike.
I'm Ken.
Rod.
What we're smoking today is the new La Duena cigar from My Father Cigars. It was a collaboration between Pete Johnson and My Father Cigars. It was actually blended by Pete Johnson of Tatuaje. The wrapper is a Connecticut broadleaf, and the cigar actually sports two binders, a Nicaraguan binder from Esteli and also a Connecticut broadleaf binder. And then the filler is Nicaraguan tobacco from Esteli, as well as more Connecticut broadleaf in the filler.
First up for our review is the appearance of the cigar we're smoking today. Very dark wrapper, not a whole lot of veins in here, pretty much seamless that I'm seeing. And I actually like this band. It's kind of unique here. I don't know what the story is behind the
Cameo.
Yeah, the photo there, or the picture or whatever it is, but pretty unique colors to it, and looks good to me.
Rod mentioned the photograph on the band, and I was actually reading that it was taken out of Victorian era lockets. Oh. It was a photographic style in those lockets, so that's where the band came from. It's a beautiful looking cigar. We're actually smoking a Bellicoso today on recommendation, as opposed to a smaller cigar like we normally smoke, so we'll give this one a try.
The tobacco is very appealing, and I do, again, agree with them on the band. It's a very unique band, different than anything you've really seen before.
Appearance-wise, everything's covered, but I really like the band. Very classic, early American history feel to it.
Well, smelling the foot, it's got a good good aroma to it. And, you know, at this point, I'm really just smelling the tobacco itself. Nothing really sticking out. It's just got a very nice classic tobacco smell to it.
Nice tobacco, maybe a hint of cedar. That's pretty much it.
I can't disagree with any of that. Yeah, I'm getting the tobacco aroma. Nothing too spicy, nothing overwhelming, anything at all. Just
I'm getting a tiny bit of like a sweet spice scent in there, in addition to the tobacco, and that's really all we're getting off the foot here. So let's cut them and light them and see what it tastes like.
It is nice.
Starting with first impressions for me. Mild pepper in the middle of the tongue, like Rod had mentioned before we started filming. Not too strong. Starting off nice. I like what I'm getting into.
So first impressions, I'll agree with Dave. It's when you light it, it feels a little strong, tastes a little strong. You get a strong tobacco-y, peppery tobacco-y taste. When it goes through the nose, you can really feel it in the back of your nose coming through, and you do get even a little bit of it on your lips.
In addition to the peppery note that Mike and Dave mentioned, there's a a very subtle sweetness to it. I'm pretty sure it comes from all the Connecticut broadleaf in the cigar. And it also has a really nice earthiness to it, I guess is the best way to explain it. It starts off, I don't want to say it's strong, it's definitely full of flavor, but I wouldn't call this a full-bodied cigar, at least at this point. But we'll see how it progresses.
I can't disagree with what you guys are saying. It's for me, it's almost too peppery coming through the nose. It's quite overwhelming for me. I don't know if it's what I ate today or just recently before we started, but it's a good flavor. Yeah, it's not quite full body, but it's pretty close for me anyway. But I'm enjoying it so far.
So we're through about the first third. The flavors in the cigar from the initial light have pretty much stayed consistent. They've sort of intermingled. The spice is a little more subtle. I think the earthiness is still there. There's still a slight hint of sweetness. Again, I think from all the Connecticut broadleaf in there. It's just a really good smoking cigar. It's tasty, and I look forward to finishing it.
Well, for me, I'm a little further than the first third. I'm hotboxing a little bit, but definitely the heavy peppery spice that I got in the beginning has mellowed out, and I am getting a touch of the sweetness that Ken talked about. A lot of good tobacco flavors, and definitely an enjoyable cigar.
I'm really enjoying the cigar. It's my kind of cigar. I really like that earthy flavor, and it's got the spicy undertones to it. And I do taste a little bit of the sweetness that Rod was talking about. So far, very good. It's got a really nice ash that's hanging on there. Very well made cigar.
At this point, it's subtle peppery. The smoke is nice. It doesn't linger on the palate. It's been an enjoyable cigar so far. I'm really looking forward to it. Seeing what it comes up with through half and how it finishes. Into 2/3. What I'm noticing is I'm noticing an increase in pepper. It's kind of picking up for me. It's getting a little stronger. Nothing intolerable by any means. Still very enjoyable. The burn has been very inconsistent with this cigar for me to this point, but so far very enjoyable.
Yeah, 2/3 for me. The taste hasn't changed too much. It's gotten a little bit more bold. I think it seems to stay a little more in my palate. When I breathe through the nose, I can really feel the spice a little more, which is good. So as you go along in the cigar, you know, the flavor just gets stronger, and you really keep that experience from the beginning of the cigar.
As Dave and Mike mentioned, the flavors have maintained pretty much consistently up to the 2/3 mark, and my cigar has been burning pretty well. I have noticed that it'll wave, but it'll fix itself. So maybe Dave's problem is operator error. I don't know, but the rest of the cigars are burning pretty well. It's picking up in strength, and as I said, the flavors are still pretty consistent. Some flavors disappear for a minute and then they come back. The spice, it's coming back. It's not strong by any means, but it's definitely making a resurgence.
Yeah, it's been a very consistent cigar. The sweetness is definitely diminished. It's pretty much gone. It's been overtaken by the spice that's getting a little more bold, like these guys have said. I definitely object to the burn comment by Mr. Pops over there. Mine's been burning fantastically the whole time through, so I don't know what his deal is, but it's a good cigar.
I'd say the last third of the cigar did stay pretty much the same, a little bold. It burned a little hotter as it got closer to the end there. Again, I could still just really taste that earthy, peppery taste on my tongue and through my nose.
I finished smoking the cigar. It was good throughout. It was very consistent. Nothing changed for me as well as the other guys. A good cigar. Probably not something that I would typically go for every time. But overall, good cigar. Good bold flavors at the end. It's kind of a crescendo at the end. Started out good and peppery, and then mild out, and then came back bold at the end. So overall good, but I think we were looking for a little more complexity and some different things, and it didn't really happen there at the end.
The final third of the cigar for me was not as enjoyable. It started to burn really warm. The flavors, as the other two mentioned already, stayed pretty consistent. It was really bold, but nothing new, nothing exciting to really give it a real kick at the end. I will say that if you've smoked my father's cigars or Pete Johnson's cigars, this is not a typical flavor profile for those two brands. It is something very different from my father and Pete Johnson than what you'd normally expect. We finished our scoring. Again, appearance is out of 2, burn is out of 2, flavor is out of 3, and overall is out of 3 as well. We averaged up our scores. Appearance, the average score is 1.7. On the burn, the average score is 1.3. Dave's score brought it down a little bit because of his burn problems. Flavor overall, the average was 2.4, and then the overall smoking experience, the average was 2.5, which gave us an overall score for this cigar of 7.9 on average. It was a good cigar, worth smoking, and I would recommend that you give it a try when you get a chance.
And now the end is near.
Good evening, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mike.
The final curtain.
You got everybody in that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Start over.
He's a director.
Start over.
Say it clear. I'll state my case.
This one's going to be a disaster. I'm telling you right now.
Can we get a disclaimer
That
at the
will make-
beginning of this?
That statement right there will make the cutout reel.
It's full. I traveled each and